team coach dynamics and versus individual coaching. I think I don't have to introduce myself any longer because William has actually spoken on my behalf. We actually have a coach training education in Indonesia also, and NLP license training, NLP license practitioner and master practitioner in Indonesia. So let me start with the first slide on about what is actually coaching. So since that I'm an ICF certified coach, as you know that, so I'll definitely quote the definition from ICF. So coaching actually defines as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspire them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I think that all of you who are very familiar with ICF terminology or have been in ICF training before are very familiar with this definition already. So coaching differentiates with mentoring, consulting, counseling, training. And when I talk about, because our topic is more on team coaching today, so we'll cover a little bit on team actually. So what is team? What is your definition on team? How do you define a team? Can you please type your response in chat? A group of people working towards a common objective. Yeah. Anyone else? Art, thank you. William, a group of individuals working together towards a common goal. Yeah. And William, teams are groups of people coming in with a common purpose. This is also a definition from action learning, like William. Is that right?
A bit of mix.
Oh, okay. And Chandra from Singapore. Hi, welcome Singapore. Individuals working together who are interdependent with each other towards good. Yeah, I think all the definitions are great, are right. But I just quote the definition from from dictionary itself. Yeah, because if you say that a team, the meaning will be much more the same, but the way we say it, the linguistic we put it may be different from one to another. So what I would quote from Oxford Dictionary is a group of people who work together for a particular job. Yeah, of course, achieving a same desired group. That actually, when we talk about team and group, like team coaching and group coaching, that differentiate that, right? So when we talk about team, it means that we have a common goal, we have a common objective, we have a common KPI, and in many cases, we might have the same manager and leader as well. But when we talk about group, then we might have different themes, we might have different objectives, we might have different KPIs, different leaders, but we come together for our team coaching. Now, what is actually the purpose of team coach? Again, I'll quote the definition from ICF, which actually states that team coaching empowers teams to work towards continued high performance and ongoing development, requiring innovation, flexibility, adaptability, and goal alignment. This is all the words put together by ICF, yeah, when they launched the team coaching competency, like, yeah, I think it's 2020. All traits that coaching helps support. So that is the purpose and the objective when we actually conduct team coaching for the team. And now next is what actually that when we talk about team development, we know that there are many modalities that we can develop a team in terms of modalities, in terms of the way we want to develop them. And this is also, I quote from ICF table, ICF team, part of the actually explanation from the ICF team coach definitions, like what actually ICF thinks of team building, team training, team consulting, team mentoring, team facilitation and team coaching. Now, let us look at the team coaching modality here. So according to ICF, yeah, so I understand that when we talk about team coach, it has a very different approaches, different perspective, different distinctions, depends on where actually you are trained, your school training, or where you learn that about the team coach. And I think, William, that since that you are from Action Learning has its own way of how to conduct team coach as well, right? So actually, I'm not saying that this is the best of the correct one, but this is the version of the ICF on the definition, on the modality itself. So when we talk about team coaching, according to ICF, the time frame is longer, yeah, comparing to other modalities, longer terms. Like Marie, how many sessions do you conduct team coach last time, if you might share?
So it was all WIAL team coaching sessions.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm quite interested and puzzled, because I do see I see a difference in what you're presenting, in the approach that we have. But it's interesting. It's
okay. And how long did it take for the team coach session itself? I mean, like 1 month, 2 months, 6 months?
The whole project was about 6 months.
Okay. All right. So like we can see that usually, I'm not saying that individual coaching does not take that long, but I think that the time frame for team coach depend actually on the team coach needs as well, on the team needs as well, how long actually that they would like to be coached on the team coaching. But according to ICF, comparing to other team modalities like team building, team training, usually team coaching take months. The frequency is like longer than the other modalities, yeah. And the process itself, when we go to team coaching, it's more on team and coach partner. So this is what we are going to cover a bit on in our slides later on. So between the team, so in team coach, according to ICF definition, that's a coached, that there will be a co-coached if necessary. There's also be a supervisor in the team coaching, besides also the leader and the team itself. And the growth area, of course, it will be that performance goals, team sustainability. It can be a lot of things that a team coach can cover. A team coaching can cover. And in terms of dynamics and conflicts, it's integral. ICF says that team building is quite minimal. Team consulting is minimal advisory. Although that actually, if we look at the more on the team competencies from ICF, team coaching competency from the ICF, it says that you can also use different approach when you coach a team. So you can be a consultant also. You can also be a facilitator if that is necessary. So it's very different when we conduct one-on-one coaching, let's say that. When we conduct one-on individual coaching, we tend to really have a coaching mindset. That is core competency number 2, right? On individual coaching. So a coaching mindset means that we reframe ourselves from, telling, advising, giving information. But in team coaching, actually, it's allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. But ICF actually states that if necessary that you have to do that, it's okay. But you need to tell the team that you are not doing coaching anymore, but you are doing like training, consulting, whatever it is. And in terms of ownership, it's the team, of course, if we talk about team coaching. Right. So when we talk about, I'm going to cover a little more about the ICF core competencies before we go over into the dynamics and actually how does team coaching looks like. So in terms of competencies from the ICF, for the individual and the team coaching, the updated ICF core competencies was introduced in November 2019 after it has been in place for quite some time, for like 25 years. I think that all of you, if I have ever joined ICF accredited training, I think that you're very familiar with this already. And then later on in December 2020, team coaching was introduced. It was quite, this is something that we expect so many years, after 25 years as professional coach from ICS, because before team coaching was introduced by ICF, we tend to use the individual core competencies when we do the team coaching. And it's kind of like not really aligning when we use the individual one, because as you all know already, for all of you that have been doing team coaching dynamics is much more the individual one, right? So when doing the one-on-one session, we only coach one person. So we can build rapport, we can sense the feeling, we can sense the emotion, we can exercise our deep listening to that person, right? But when it comes to team coaching, it's not only one. Yeah, it can be 5, 10, and actually before that, ICF does state that the effective team coaching is actually 15, the maximum. And they actually recommend more than 15, you need to have another co-coach. You and I have to coach partner with you, because seeing from the dynamic. So as you see that what actually really makes things challenging for a team coach itself is that when we cover one person, we face with the one person dynamic. So we face with what actually shown up from that person. But when we coach team comprises of individual, right? Like 10, 5, 7, 15, let's say that. And each individual has its own way of saying things. Each individual has its internal, in our NLP, because I'm the practitioner of NLP, we call it internal map. Or maybe another term, mental model. So everyone has its own internal map. So imagine that if you have to coach 10 or 15 persons in a team, you are dealing with 10 or 15 different internal maps or mental models. So you can see that from my explanation itself, that you can picture, you can imagine how dynamic a team coaching session will look like. And we actually feel very glad and happy when ICF introduced team coaching in 2020, although we can see that actually the core competency similar or exactly the same, the core competency, because in ICF core competency, you have the core and the sub competencies. So the core is the competency that is the major competencies together with definition. Between individual and team coach are exactly the same. But when it comes to the guidelines, or we sometimes call it sub competencies, now they differentiate between individual and team coaching. Later I'll cover a bit what actually that some of team coaching called sub competencies that ICF introduced to us. And any questions so far about these competencies? Everything's good? All right.
Rudy,
okay.
Can I ask a question, Rudy?
Sure, William.
Yeah. So to contextualize that, so prior to 2020, how was team coaching in the ICF or ICF fraternity?
Very good questions. ICF actually, when we asked that questions to ICF, we actually are recommended to use, suggested to use the current individual team coaching, individual core competencies. So because there are no team coaching competencies, so ICF professional coaches tend to use the one that we currently say that we tend to use it more for individual one. The 11th core competency, before it was updated to 8. Now it actually is 8 already after 25 years. So we tend to stick on that 11 core competencies. But like I say, William, just now, that sometimes we find like it's quite challenging because the sub competencies, we don't have any issues with the major ones, the core ones. But when it comes to the sub, the guidelines, so many coaches feel like it's more on the individual part rather for the team part. Yeah, so that's why I said that when ICF introduced this team coaching core competencies, it's like a relief. So we kind of like have guidelines. We have like a, a compass that how actually we should conduct a team coaching, William. So it's really, before it was introduced, every coach has its own way on interpreting how they should put this individual core competence into team comp, how actually it should work for them. Okay, thank you so much for the question. Anyone else? All right, so I can go on then. Okay, so what actually happening during coaching? Yeah. What actually I am trying to illustrate that into a picture, if I can visualize that. The process is like this. So when a coach is present with the clients or with the coaches in a coaching, there are input, we call it data, right? So it can be visual, auditory, kinesthetic, we call it sensory, modality, triggering. And then the coach will observe. So the coach is there present with the client, with the coachee, and observing what is happening during the 45 or 1 hour sessions, let's say, during a coaching session. And the coach inquire a lot of things on what actually he or she feels, hears, sees, and intuitively listens as well. And when coach does, it goes into the deeper part of the client. That's why we always say that it's very good if a coach can really coach the person, not only the problem. Yeah, coach the who, not the what. So the who is actually the values, the belief, the memories, the experience, the being part of the client or the coachee. So it goes down deep there, and then provoking and uncovering there. Yeah, to really let the client seize what actually is not seen or unseen before by him or her. And then once the client finds an aha moment, a discovery, a new discovery, or a new awareness for the client, and then, the transformation is happening. So the responses will, during the coaching, as we know, that will be verbal and non-verbal. Because when we talk about the 6 competency, if I'm not mistaken, listen actively, we are supposed to listen to what is heard and what is not heard. Sometimes you also listen to the energy. Sometimes you also listen to the shift of the emotion from the client. And that is why in a coaching session, ICF also suggests that silence is there. So for those who are very familiar with the ICF Core Competency, there is a new guidelines of sub-competency from ICF. Coach is actually encouraged to allow silence or create silence during the coaching session for the client, because that is the moment when during that silence, that thought-provoking actually comes together with the client into a new awareness. Yeah. So I can say that this is what actually, this is like the surface, and this is what below the surface. And then gradually it's emerging up with a new awareness. That what is actually happening during the coaching session, right? And when it's up already, the client feels that there is something he or she needs to carry on, needs to act on from the new awareness that he or she just identified during the session. Okay, and that one actually is more on the general one, the general coaching session. I can say that more on one-on-one. And when we talk about the team one, now you can see the dynamic. This is the way I see this. Yeah. Anyway, maybe action learning has its own way on seeing the team coaching. But why I'm saying that, of course, as you know that what actually coaching differs from another modalities that we explained before, and with the regular chit chat on even meaningful conversation, every coaching session has a desired outcome. So we call it goal. So every coaching session has an agenda, a topic, a goal. And then that's why I put it in the corner when we do the coaching session. So there's agenda, there's topic that we need to cover with the team, of course. And aside from the goal itself, we have the team. And when we talk about team, it comprises of a group of people, right? So like 5, 6, 10 people, that's a group of people. And when we talk about group of people, we talk about the being, yeah, but not individual being, but it's a group being. ICF call this a single entity. So these 10, 15, 7 people are the being or team, which actually we consider to be a one entity. So we don't see that during the team coaching, we don't coach them one by one, of course. Yeah, we coach that as a single entity, like a single person, like a representation of one person. So that is the being out of team. And there's also a doing out of team as well. As you know that a coaching by the end of the session has to carry on some action planning from what actually the group or the clients have identified during the session. And this is all, besides that, we also have the process, of course. So ICF has already defined coaching as a creative and thought-provoking process, as you can see that. So similarly, likewise in Team Coach as well, is a process. But this process is between the team, not the individual one, and with the coach and also the team leader. So many people come to me and ask the questions like, should we include the team leader in the team coach? Now, my experience that, I don't know, maybe William, you have another perspective in action learning, but I also encourage team leader to be in a team coaching session. How about action learning, William? Do you also always include?
Yeah, we have. For those action learning coaches in the room, you remember that we have 2 parts, MPAL, that is more towards group coaching, the group helping an individual to solve the problem. SPAL, that is everyone in the group together with the team leader solve an issue. So Rudy is just interpretation, but we do have slight different only, but we are in sync with what you have said.
Okay, sure. So yes, Art, I see that you raise your hand.
Yeah, this whole discussion sparking a lot of interest, particularly I'm sharing with the Philippine coaches as well in our group. And we've been discussing, and a question that kind of William just touched on, but maybe just if we could elaborate further between you and William and whoever would like to add. But a question that came up is, if I could kindly ask you ask the group how team coaching is different and similar to the action learning approach. I think you touched up on it, William, with the SPAL, MPAL, but are there any other areas in terms of for example, action learning, the ideal group is 4 to 6 individuals. For team coaching, what would be the ideal group? Is there ideal number? I mean, we're just understanding like the differences between the two.
Yeah, very good question, Art. I think for the action learning, I'm not action learning certified. Maybe in the future I'm saying myself certified, William. But I think that for the action learning, I think that William is the most credible person to answer that. But let me answer from my point of view as well, Art, but aside from the action learning. So if you ask me that how many persons that a maximum like how many participants, how many members a team coaching session usually have. So I refer to, ICF does not strictly saying that 15 is the maximum. But actually when it comes to our submission, because as professional coach, when we want to attain our ACC, PCC, and MCC, I think that all of you are familiar with that, right? So we need to submit number of clients of number of hours. So ICF has the definition of when you submit those areas of team coach, it's maximum 15. More than 15, they will not consider that as a team coaching. But later on, when I see the team coach competencies, they don't put that sentence that they don't rigidly put that sentence 15 the maximum, but they do introduce co-coach art. Yeah, so they do introduce that. If let's say in your own discretion, in your own wisdom as a coach, when you want to coach a team and you think that you cannot handle this team dynamics, or the dynamics is quite challenging for you to handle, you might ask someone to co-coach with you. And you also can include supervisor as well, supervision during the team coaching session. So the supervisor will be sitting in the team coaching session together with the co-coach. So the co-coach and the coach will actually collaborate and supporting each other in conducting the team coach itself. I also witnessed, although I've never been, working with co-coach before, but I'm witnessing some of my, coaches, fellow coaches that have been doing the team coach together in a team coaching session. So that's also a dynamic. When you invite somebody to co-coach together, you need to agree on what actually the ways of working, what areas that you are covering, and what the area the co-coach is covering also. So to avoid misunderstanding and different perspective as well. But it's very good, especially if you handle big groups, let's say 20-25. Yeah, maybe you have to have 3 coaches, and the topic is a bit challenging. So it's managing conflict, or there is a conflict or miscommunication in the team, and you can sense from the beginning that the team is not very good together as a team. Now you might have somebody else to really do the coaching sessions for you. And I think that all of you understand that before doing the coaching, we need to have the chemistry session first, right? So we cannot abruptly do coaching before introduce ourselves to the team and get the feel of what actually the team looks like. So usually my best practice is that before I do a team coaching, I need to talk to the team itself. Yeah, to the stakeholders who sponsor the team coaching, what actually why they hire external coach like us to do the team coach, and what actually the problems or the concerns they want to solve from the team coach itself. And then we might talk to the team to, let's say, introduce what actually coaching looks like and what actually it's differentiate from another approaches as well, modalities. Yes. Yeah, that is art. So in order for so we don't abruptly say that I want to do the team coaching and all of a sudden we do the team coaching abruptly. We don't do that as a coach, right? Even for individual, we don't do that. We usually do that introductory session. We call it chemistry or discovery session sometimes, and then we explain how the ways we are working, what actually their expectation, what also our expectation, because coaching is a partnering, right? So it's two-way kind of like working together. Yeah. From my part, does it answer your question?
Yes, from your part, it perfectly does. Just one last question regarding that. With the ICF team coaching, how is it? Do you have a flow? Is there like, because in action learning, we start out with a script, right?
Yeah.
We have a scripted session. Is there a particular flow, or is it just go forth and coach?
Okay. All right. I'll have to bluntly explain on this. I have joined action learning. William is very kind enough last time to introduce to one of the sessions. It's fundamental, it's not mistaken, William. Is that right? Yep. Yeah. So I kind of feel like what actually action learning team coach looks like. I can say in ICF way of doing coaching, both for individual and team coach, I can say that we don't usually use scripts. So we just dive in and really feel the energy and dynamic on what is actually going on with the team. So we really learn from that and we ask questions from that. So we discover from that moment. So for me, it's a plus or minus. Yeah. For me, it's scripted. It means it's like we actually determined what we are going to ask already. So it's kind of like we set already from the beginning what we are going to ask the group, regardless actually the dynamic of the group itself. This is my perspective, yeah, because I'm not action learning certified. So this is only my perspective. Maybe if I learn more, I can understand more the whole picture of it. But we don't usually use scripted thing in ICF. I mean, from ICF perspective, we don't usually use scripted, scenarios or whatever you call it to conduct a coaching session. Yeah.
Rudy, can I jump in to answer Art also?
Yeah, sure, William.
Art, this is from the context of to add on to what Rudy have mentioned. Yes, we have action learning is peculiar in the sense that for team coaching, for learners, we come in with a scripted part of it. Yeah. So as you advance yourself, as you move forward, for example, if you have done a lot of SPAL, this is talking from experience, I would say as the script is more or less not followed when you do SPAL. When things become complex, you have to see we call it the bigger picture. We call it, sometimes it goes to the level of systemic coaching. The problem is no more lying with the team leader. The dynamics is that is a stakeholder. So this is what I mean. So Art, on this note, you have brought out a very interesting session. We can actually create one session to actually enhance our coaches' learning in terms of, I don't mind sharing my experience. I think there are a lot of melt cells out there who have lots of SPAL coaching, can come and share to enhance our learning. So Art, that is one thing which could go as we move forward on that. I think I see another person raising the question. Yao, you have a question for Rudy, Yao?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I have one question. Since I am doing AL as well, but in the AL just like 7 around people, then ICF defined that 15 participants can be joined the team. Do you have any difficulties about to set up a phenomenon about psychological safety for this around more people? Because normally when I'm doing like around 7 people, sometimes it's hard to establish belief in the team for each member. So would you maybe share more about that?
Okay,
Thanks.
sure. So the best answer for that question is that it really depends on the coach itself, himself or herself. So if you think that's why I think that a pre-session before the real coaching session with the team, it's very essential and very critical for a team coach, especially. Yeah. So if you think that this team is very dynamic and it's a bit challenging, I cannot handle by myself, let's say that. It's like they don't, what we call cohesion. The cohesion is not there. So you might really, on that discretion, on that finding, you need to have someone to help you for the coach. So I think I put it that way. So it's sometimes not only for the size of the group, for the number of the people actually joining the team coach, but it's more on the dynamic and challenges. How actually do you handle that? And ICF clearly stipulates that we need to assure when we do a team coach, we coach them as a single entity. So we don't address one by one, right? I really like the way action learning doing the team coach actually itself, because I told you before that I was very honored to have been invited by William at that time to join that. And there is one competency that aligned with the action learning also. It's like in and out, William. So the dialogue is in and out. So there is one competency in ICF also says that a coach, you don't have to be always present during the team coach session. Sometimes you can step out, step in, step out, step in. So you let the team own the dialogue, because the team is the single entity, it's not you, right? So you observe that, and then you might jump in, you might move in when you think that that's necessary for you to move. So I think that part is is aligning very well with one of the ICF Core. And I think that we need to understand when we are invited, because I'm one of the founder of Coach Training School Indonesia. So usually that's exclusivity given to us before this core competency is introduced. We actually are invited by the ICF committee. I mean the people who actually are creating this core competency. They explain to us, they introduce to us what actually the story behind. And at that time, we were told that this competency actually is coming from a lot of professions, a lot of different training schools as well, whether that is ICF or non-ICF, including action learning, I think. Yeah, because they did say action learning, one of the narrators says that it's kind of like action learning did. I still remember that. So the move in and move out, I think that one is very similar with what action learning is doing. Do you agree with that, William?
Yes, Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy, if we respect to time, just in case, would you like to move on to cover your slide? There are lots of questions for you, Rudy.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I go to Mary first, or I finish my slide first.
Your choice. What do you think?
Okay, maybe I finish my slide first, Mary, if you don't mind, and then cover the Q&A later. So if you see this, there's the light green color here. You have the being of a team, doing of a team, learning and process. In a coaching, we always have a learning. It's similar with individual one. Usually by the end of the session, in one-on-one coaching, we ask the client, what is the takeaway from you? What do you want to learn from this session? So in Team Coach also, we have that. And the leader, I put it here, and I clearly stipulate here, team leader can take charge if required. So we need to understand when a team leader is sitting in a team coaching session, he is also a participant. He is also a member. So that is the thing that usually I like preempt. I tell the leader before he or she joining, don't show your dominance here. So because you are also a member like that. But you can take charge, for example, like if that comes to technicality, policies that the coach does not very understand very well, you can jump in and clarify. It's only like that. So you also have to respect and honor what the team actually is expressing or not expressing sometimes. Yeah. All right, let us move on. This is my last slide, actually. Now, as a team coach, you might consider these few things, and I quote some of them. I put some of them. These actually coming from the ICF Core Competencies for Team Coach as well. So the first one is team as single entity. The second one is I explained earlier when Yale asked the questions. Understand the team dynamics before indulging yourself in the team coaching sessions. From that, you might come with a decision whether that you want to invite another co-coach to help you. Even supervision, any supervisor has to be in there. And then one of the things that really differentiate with one-on-one coaching is team coach can use multiple modalities, team developed modalities when necessary, overtly or discreetly. Yeah. Team coach may engage co-coaches and encourage the team to pause and reflect, which actually I can see that actually does that a lot during the team coaching session. Most moves in and out, as I mentioned earlier, of the team dialogue as appropriate, and engages teams and be creative. A lot of creativity has to be used in team coach as well. So sometimes before I start the serious discussion, I kind of like give an icebreaker. You can use Post-it everything when in offline session. When in online session, you can also use the visual tools, creative visual tools to engage the team first. So you are feel free to do that. All right, that is my next slide, and open Q&A, and this is my contact number. All right, let us now go to the Q&A session.
Yeah, okay, awesome, thank you, Rudy.
Marie,
Marie, yeah.
Okay, so the first thought I had is really around somehow the objective of the team coaching session. In action learning, and William and all the AL coach in the room, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we often start from the problem and we see whether based on the problem, the team coaching session is appropriate or not is the best tool, is the best way to approach this, right? So there's clarity on somehow why we're here, and all the preparation that you mentioned we do in terms of seeing with the problem presenter, which, as William said, can be one individual within the team or a sponsor or the entire team, whether that's a good thing to solve that. From your presentation, I'm a little bit less clear on when you decide that team coaching is the right thing for the group, and what is it that you're trying to achieve somehow? What is the outcome or the objective of the team coaching?
Right. Okay. To answer the questions, Marie, of course, before we do the team coach, we need to engage the sponsor first. So usually when we talk about the team coach, especially I'm an executive coach for corporates, most of my coaching are corporate clients. So not like the corporate pays for, I call it sponsored. Yeah, corporates pay for the team, corporates pay for the individual. So before that, usually engage the stakeholder. What actually is happening? Why do you need to hire external coach to coach the team? So that kind of session, that kind of questions, that kind of discovery with the stakeholder. And after that, let's say the stakeholder says that, yeah, because for example, for the sales part, yeah, for the performance sales, for instance, I want to increase the productivity from my team. So currently, like they are achieving like 1 BO. I like to stretch them to another 2 BO, for instance, for the next 1 year. Now that is the objective. That is the outcome of, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 sessions of these team coaching sessions. And then the questions we might ask them later on is that, why can you not do it internally? Why do you have to hire external coach? Why the leader is not doing this? That kind of questions, Mary, from the discovery section. And then they explain blah, 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 so on. And then after that, we do another pre-session with the team. Yeah, Marie, I just want to tell you that in ICF, there is no structured or step one by one step on how actually you have to do. They only come with competencies. So these are the competencies as a coach that you have to comply with if you want to say a certified coach from ICF. But the way you do it, it's really based on your best practice. So if you ask me personally, this is what we are doing. And this is some of my fellow coaches are doing as well. But if you ask another coach, maybe it will come with different answers as well. So usually we engage the stakeholder, we engage the participants, the team, and from that we have the feeling, because as a coach, usually we also listen very, we exercise, we demonstrate, listen actively in every moment when we meet with our prospective clients, right? So we demonstrate deep listening. What actually is behind this? And then we tell the stakeholder after we meet the team coach, it depends on your discretion. You might come up with, you may do another session with the stakeholder and saying that actually what I'm feeling here, they don't need coaching. They kind of like need more training or mentoring, Marie. But if you think that coaching is the best approach for a team, then you go ahead. That's usually I'm doing. Yeah. So if you think that this team is, because one of the components that we all need to understand when we do a coaching session, we need to understand that the differentiation between each modality is coaching is more on unlocking the resourcefulness the people already have, not merely transferring knowledge or giving advice or telling. But if, let's say, this team really do not have the knowledge, do not have the resourcefulness, maybe you want to start with training or mentoring first before indulge yourself, engage yourself in a team coaching session. Did I answer your question, Mary?
Kind of. Kind of. The two questions, I'll ask the question, but don't answer them now because I'm sure other people have questions. When I listen to you, there's two things that come to mind. First is, and that's another topic, William, for another COP. And you can, I was talking to Shannon about this, on the difference between the problem and the objective. And so when I hear you talk about the one example that you gave, increased productivity, to me, that sounds more like a goal than looking at the problem. Whereas I think in AL, we really want to start with the problem because the goal might be quite different. So that's just a thought listening to you.
Very interesting.
The two questions that I have, so I'd be quite interesting, and again, that's not, don't answer that immediately. One is, what kind of topics have you actually addressed with the team coaching that you've done, you know, just for us to have that. And the second one is, what does it actually look like in terms of a program that you run? Because for us in AL, it's quite clear. We know where we start, we kind of know where we end, even if with the complexity it looks different. So just two questions. I'll put them in the chat so that it's out there, but I'd like to hear other other questions.
Other people actually from the president can also jump in if you want to, you know, just add in. Feel free, because we treat this session more on the discussion and sharing. So we all understand that before we come with the coaching session itself, like we engage the stakeholder, before we engage with the participants, we come up with the coaching agreement or coaching contract. I think that all of you are familiar with that, right? So we have a contract. In the contract, it's very clear what is the objective from the team coached. It's written, and everyone has to sign. Like what I'm doing currently is that I'm also asking all the member, because currently I have a couple of projects, team coach projects with one of the corporates. I always ask them to sign on the coaching agreement also. So not only the stakeholder, because in the coaching agreement and the coaching contract, there's clauses and conditions and disclaimer also from the ICF. So it's an ICF standard. We need to have a coaching agreement. So Marie, I think that one of the things I forget to clarify between agenda and goal. So in the coaching, we call it topic or agenda. And then we have the goal. So let's say the stakeholders say, I want to increase my the productivity or performance of my team. That is the topic or the agenda. And what does the goal look like to you when you achieve that? Now it comes with the goal. So like, I want to double my sales revenue or sales profit, let's say, that is the goal. By when? By the end of this year, let's say, that is the goal. So we have topic, we call it topic agenda. We don't call it problem usually in coaching. We call it topic or agenda, and then we have the goal. So that is the big goal from these team coaching sessions, like 5 or 6. So by the end of the 6th session, everyone expected that there is some traction on the performance of the productivity of the team. Let's say like that, Marie. Yeah. So I'm not a practitioner of action learning, so really I'm not certified on that. So I don't know actually how action learning define that. But usually in ICF, we call that a topic, a goal, a topic or agenda, and we have the goal, and it comes with the actions then later on.
Rudy, we have commonalities in that, not to worry. So from Marie and the rest of action learning coaches, I wish we can actually answer everything in this in 2 minutes, but we can't. But let's if you can participate in more of our joint session with WIAL Philippines, I think you will uncover more. Yeah, and Rudy have opened up so much of resource for everybody's learning. Yeah, and just before I answer, I allow one more person to ask question or to share.
Sure.
My experience, what for those who have been with me, is a resource from ICF, the years of learning from ICF, the years of learning with action learning, and actually the years of research on the founder, Reg Ravens, what he initially thought about action learning. So, and for those coaches, I would like to really encourage you all, AL coaches, it's not just to look at the process card. Action learning is beyond the process card. So you should go beyond that process card. Yeah. So go to your master coaches, go to your senior coaches. Otherwise, join us in the monthly session. We will help you to uncover bit by bit of that. So one last thought from anyone or question if you have for Rudy. If not, Rudy, I just want to say this, not to you as a friend, but one of the best sessions so far we have organized. Rudy,
Thank you so
although
much.
you may come from another school of thought, but you have opened up so much of thoughts of sharing, and that actually have put me into a situation. What can we do more for our community of practice, Rudy?
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
So a quick round the room. What is your takeaway today? I am going to bring this so that you'll be guided. Rudy, again, not going to miss you. Thank you very much, Rudy. Stay in the room first, Rudy. Don't go away. So this is what I'm going to just quickly share and then take this away. So one key takeaway from Rudy's session: how can this learning be applied at your place? So I think it will be fair, since Rudy is still with us, to share either in a chat box or shout out.
I'd like to share. So one perspective that Rudy brought out is, while coaching a team, while there are so many individuals, it has to be coached as one single entity. Yeah, and that's an insight.
Awesome.
For me, it would be the parallels in action learning and such, but I think it's even more important when it comes to team coaching, because the line can be blurred when it's team coaching. Or am I coaching? Am I facilitating? What am I doing right now? It's very, I mean, it gets very blurred between the two, that without someone maybe watching you to give feedback, you can get lost. I'm already facilitating. I'm controlling the group. So what I appreciate from today was that in and out, in, out, in, out. So being able to maintain that balance. Thank you so much, Rudy.
Jess, you want to read anything from the chat, Jess?
There is Monton that said deep dive from agenda or problem to real goal.
Thank you. Chanda, I see you unmuting yourself.
Yeah, I like this idea of team being and the fact that there is flexibility in the interventions you use to get the best out of the team. And this is where I think, Art, you mentioned in and out is true, but do I facilitate, do I train, or do I coach? I think that flexibility in team coaching is really, I would say, makes me comfortable, because I think I'm doing that, and sometimes you get confused. Am I coaching or am I just telling them what to do? So I think this gives me a little bit of, I would say, approval that you can do it if you really want. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rudy, for the session.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Jess, you want to read anything else from the chat? That will be the last one. We're going to close the session. Yeah.
Yeah, or Grace said, insightful information shared about team coaching while comparing action learning.
Awesome. And last but not least, the last slide to share with everyone is as an update. Why action learning? A bit of to answer some curiosity. Yeah. So 4 to 8 people working on each other's period time. So this is some similarities there. Yeah. Critical thinking, Rudy had mentioned. And last but not least, delivering high performing team. So this is not an agenda set, but some of the things which we have done previously. And the last slide. So here for WIAL Malaysia, we are going to have first time in 2 years a face-to-face program, or it could even be a blended session. So we have 3 parts altogether. 6 to 19 June is e-learning modules, and 20th, 21st is the first part of the coaching practicum 1. 30th, 1st July, coaching practicum 2. And when we say blended means we are flexible, but otherwise we will have 4 days of this at Concord. Our normal typical hotel is at Concord Hotel Kuala Lumpur in the heart of the city. So this is, please log in or contact me if you need more information of this for Malaysia, right? And last but not least, everyone, apologies for the 5-minute extension of time. Otherwise, thank you very much. And we look forward to the June session with WIAL Philippines. There is a speaker for WIAL Philippines. So Art, please connect on that.
Yep.
And Rudy, stay in the room. Everyone, wishing everyone a great weekend. Take care. Bye.
Fantastic weekend. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Photo, Jess.
William,
Thank
you
you.
forgot photo.
Do we have a
Photo,
picture?
we forgot.
Yeah, photo.
Photo.
Yeah, if you can on the video for a while, let's see. Jess, hi.
Waiting. Any more? If not, on the count of 3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you.
Yay. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bilang.